Friday morning, September 1st, going into the Labor Day long weekend. Yesterday, the 31st of August, we saw the 26th anniversary of the death of Princess Diana. And this past few days, we've seen the release of Heart of Invictus, Harry's new six-part Netflix docudrama about the Invictus Games. Now, I haven't watched the whole thing. I've watched the first episode, and even in that, it's very apparent that it's going to be all about Harry. Oh my gosh. You know, where he should be highlighting the plight and the successes of these athletes. He's talking about himself, talking about his war experience, and when he came home, when he was discovered, and it was leaked where he was located. They had to get him out of the war theater and bring him home. Now, he was on a plane, and the front of the plane, separated by a curtain, was all the injured soldiers that they're bringing back at the same time, and he peeked beyond the curtain and apparently saw, all these soldiers wrapped in blankets, wrapped in plastic, bits missing, like just as you can imagine, bringing wounded soldiers home, it's not going to be a pretty sight. Well, apparently, this traumatized Harry to the point that he just kind of said, well, something has to be done. And he got back to England, and that was his passion, and he started thinking about this, and sport will be the way to bring all these soldiers back to feeling like they're having productive lives and moving forward. I mean, Harry's such a genius. He figured this all out on the plane ride home from his little tour of duty. Bunker Harry. Just brilliance personified to save the day for all of these soldiers. I mean, it's all bullshit. It's bullshit. I mean, we know that while he was in Afghanistan, he had more private security Gurkha soldiers protecting him than the whole platoon he was supposed to be a part of. His being there was not an asset to that unit. He was a liability to him because he's a target, and not much of a soldier, and he's a royal, and they couldn't chance him getting hurt. He had more protection than the other soldiers combined. I mean, it was an outrageous. He got to play soldier for 10 weeks or something. Just typically ridiculous kind of stuff that goes on when you're a member of the royal family. The fact that he was disingenuous about his role in the army, and, well, he can get away with it. He can say whatever he wants. But, first off, his brilliant brainstorm epiphany that these soldiers are all going to need something to do. Damn it, he's Harry. He's the guy to do it. I mean, just crap. Invictus Games was originally put together by palace staffers as a response for Harry's bad behavior when he did come home, falling out of bars, punching a photographer. I mean, just bad, but they had to find Harry something to do because he was kind of going off the rails. Now, we all know that the impetus for the Invictus Games in Britain was indeed the already established warrior games going on in the United States, which were sport games for American veterans, wounded American veterans. It's not an original idea, first of all. It was never Harry's idea. And the impetus, it had nothing to do with his will to do something good for the soldiers. It was like the Palace planners gave him a project. The Royal Foundation funded it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It had nothing to do with Harry. They put his name on it so they could send him out here and there on tours and speeches and give him something to do and perhaps give him something he could hold on to and make his own. And, in the early years, so the whole how it was set up and everything, that's a scam, but that's almost beside the point. At the beginning, Harry did put some heart and soul into it. Before Meghan came along, I think it was an interest to him. And I think it gave him a sense of self-worth and everything. But now, things have gone down the toilet. He's not. Archewell, whatever, they may have produced this Netflix series, but they're not putting a lot of money into the whole thing. Prince William has put money into Invictus to keep it afloat, as he has with Centibelli as well, and the Royal Foundation. Because Harry, it was all well and good at first, and he really doesn't give a shit anymore. And now that Meghan's come along, well, it's all about them, and yeah. So and then within the first hour, of this documentary, Harry's talking about how he comes home, he's rolling on the floor in a fetal position. Where have we heard that before? Meghan on the floor in a fetal position, crying her eyes out. Seems this is all these people do between paid photo ops. I think they just lay on the floor crying a lot. Hell of a life. But yeah, laying on the floor, fetal position. He came home, there was no one to help him. Nobody at the palace. No medical intervention. Nobody understood him. There was no support. No support from his family or the palace. No support from anyone. And he just suffered and suffered and suffered. It's bullshit. There's interviews where Harry has spoken himself. Back in 2016 or something, saying that, William's reaction to his demeanor, suffering with his mental health issues, and William saying, hey buddy, this is not normal, you need help, let's get you help. In the past, in print and on video, Harry has credited William for getting him some mental health treatment, urging him to and carrying on with it. More than once Harry has credited William with saving his life, really, getting him mental health intervention when he needed it more than ever. But now, since then, since Meghan came along, well, now he's credited, he couldn't handle anything till Meghan came along, and now he's getting the mental health he needs. Well, what is it? This Invictus thing, what I can see after one episode already, it's going to be all about Harry. It's going to be exploitative of his subjects, the soldiers, as everything he does is exploitative for his own end. Sorry, my earbud keeps popping out. So, we already know this. He's disingenuous. In 1 hour, there's already several lies you can rack up, and bonus, as we knew what would happen within that first hour, he invokes the name of Diana. Of course. I mean, they planned it so that the thing debuted on Netflix the anniversary of her death, and she's right in there by his side, right at the it's gotta be done. He gets infuriated when anybody else, might make a buck off his dead mother, but he has no qualms. No qualms of using her name or her situation. He said that it wasn't until the PTSD and the trauma from his 10 weeks of playing video games in the desert kicked in that he really understood and started to come to grips with grieving for his dead mother, Diana. So, I mean, he ties all of that in. Not just the trauma of his war experience, the trauma of his mother dying. I mean, this has been his mantra from day one. Everything he's ever going to do or say is going to be tied back to his mental health and his dead mother. That's the only currency he has. And this Netflix thing, Heart of Invictus, I'm afraid. I mean, I probably will watch a little bit more of it just to see if I'm right or not, but I really think that it's just going to be another exercise in exploitation, another self-pitying ramble with a little bit of athletics thrown in to kind of highlight, what a humanitarian he is, of course. I mean, of course. That's got to be said. But as it turns out in the Daily Mail today, even ex-vets are mad at him. Because, also within that first hour, Harry managed to, another lie, saying that the reason that he had to be pulled out was that the British press outed him. Released information of where he was stationed. This is not true. The leak originally came from the Drudge Report in America, and secondarily an Australian press outfit, I'm not sure if it was print or TV, but I know it was Australian, were the second ones to report it. Britain had the information because of the press and the Home Office and the monarchy, the palace and everything. So the press knew that he was going to be away and where he was going to be, but they were under a moratorium not to say anything and keep that information under their hat, which the palace has done with the press on many occasions, and they complied. It wasn't the British press at all, but Harry's just got this huge bee up his arse about the British press dogging him all of his life, and they're the one of the main reasons he's such a mess now. Like they as far as he's concerned, they purposely set out to ruin his life. And so this is just another exaggeration, just another lie on his part. So yeah, 1 hour just chock full of lies. Poor me. Got to get dead Diana in there as well. And on the anniversary of her death, I mean, I tell you, Harry's not the only one trying to make bank on Diana's name still. Up pops Fergie, Sarah Ferguson. This is interesting. The anniversary of Diana's death, there's a little blurb in the Daily Mail that Sarah, and I don't know who the heck she spoke to, but she claimed that her recent struggle with breast cancer and her subsequent recovery was traumatic enough to kind of give her clarification on a lot of things concerning Diana. Like, apparently, she said she spent years being compared to Diana, years in her shadow, and this was hurtful and demeaning, and all of these, poor Sarah, poor me, and now I got cancer. And, with the recovery of the cancer, she's discovered she's now at peace with the competition between her and Diana after all these. Took 26 years and about a breast cancer. You know what? Because she can say, hey, I'm alive. She's not. I win. Not the most generous sentiment on the 26th anniversary of Diana's death, but that's Fergie for you. And one more thing I want to say, because I have seen recently, since this bout of breast cancer came up, there's been YouTubers and press mistakenly kind of reporting on Sarah's situation. They've said, oh, well, we just discovered she's gone through this bout of breast cancer, and she's had surgery, and she's been recuperating at Royal Lodge with Prince Andrew. She's been staying there while she's recuperating, and so people are under the mistaken assumption that she's there while she's recuperating, so she has somebody around, and etc., etc. And this is not true. With the exception of about a year and a half immediately after their separation, where Sarah rented her own house with the two children. With the exception of about that first year and a half, she has lived with Andrew the whole time. They've shared the house. She has lived at Royal Lodge for over the last 20 years. And it's a bit of a symbiotic relationship. Andrew knows all about her money trouble, and oh my God, we could, do a 6-week series just on that alone. So, from his point of view, it's easier to keep her closer so he can keep an eye on what's going on. From her point of view, in raising the children, and they wanted to maintain a friendly family atmosphere and dynamic, she and the children moved back into Royal Lodge, so they all kind of grew up in a, two-parent family dynamic home, and, I guess it's quite a big place, like 90 rooms, 90 acres. I don't know how many bathrooms Royal Lodge has, but it's got at least a couple of wings that they don't need to be underfoot all the time. Yeah, she's been there the whole time. This whole, she's moved in with him to recover, and also I've heard people say, well, this is advantageous for Andrew because he's being scared of being kicked out of Royal Lodge, and with her there recovering from cancer, you know, Charles wouldn't be so heartless as to kick a sick woman out of the house. So it's all a bit of back and forth, and it's a lot of the reporting. See, this is the thing, you have to really kind of look to find out what's really going on, because a lot of things you'll hear and read are not necessarily true. And so you got to kind of learn how to pick those stories apart and find out what's actually happening. But anyway, that's my update for today. Hope y'all have a great day. Have a good long weekend here in Canada and America. This is the Labor Day long weekend, September 1st. Long weekend means that on Monday, the banks, government offices, all of our retail stores and everything are closed. Like everything shuts down on Labor Day weekend. It's basically, it's a bank holiday, what the British call a bank holiday, except everything shuts down here in Ontario anyway. So have a great weekend. Like, subscribe, share this video, and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say about all of this. Have a great day, everybody. Bye for now.